it's good. It's good, Brandon. Yummy.
Are we starting off the show with a drink?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. I think I've got Facebook open, Brandon. We're off to a start. Hold on. Oh,
Shut it down. Shut it down.
It's all happening. Oh, my gosh. Where is that coming from? The call is coming from inside the house, Brandon. It's live somewhere. I don't know where, people.
Turn off the cameras.
No, never. Wait, I found it. All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
We're totally not live, and we're totally starting over. And 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Take your drink. Stop it.
I already drank the drink.
Here we go.
Welcome in. Welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 In, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. Coming out and join me on Twitter at Clinton Bon. And I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And find him out on Twitter at SeahawkersPod. Brandon, I am on Cloud 9. I am on K9. I am just sliding away 37-23. Just a dismantling of what was said to be a fairly good Chargers team, Brandon. But all I saw, this was a tough one, Brandon. I wanted to give 5, 6, 7, 8 ins. I got to get it down to 3 this week. This is tough. This was a ass whooping, Brandon.
You don't want to go 8 in, 3 out for just 1 week?
12 in. Why not? Right. This was tough. This was like to get these down to nooks and crannies where I'm like, this whole freaking game was nooks and crannies. This whole game was excellent execution, excellent coaching. Just everything was good except for Mark Sanchez. He's not good at his.
Oh, he was fine. Mark Sanchez is fine.
I like him because he reminds me of Mario Lopez, and of course that reminds me of AC Slater. So I like Mark Sanchez. He did say at one point, Ken Walker jumped through the hole to lower his pads. I said, oh, okay. All right, Mark. He jumped through the hole. That's all right. But we got more.
Look, when you're one of those guys, you're gonna say some wild things. Look, I mean, it's not like we started off this show the greatest, and look at us.
Oh,
we're doing
perfect.
Things.
We started off the show perfectly. There was no echo.
It was perfect the first time. We didn't have to restart anything.
Didn't have to tear up the ticket because we got out of the gate. We just rock and roll. And, right there on the screen, right? Proof is in the pudding. Ryan 911, the man at this point. All right. Our live executive producer coming up with the super chat, chipping in to help cover the immense cost of producing very real MVC trophies you're sending out this year. Ryan, thank the maker for you because you understand economies of scale and we haven't quite reached them yet, my man. So thank you for chipping in.
Yeah, it's when you going into the season, if we were going by the national prediction of how many wins there were going to be for our Seahawks, we were only really looking at 5 MVC trophies to produce.
Max,
and now, I mean, we're already 4 wins in. The budget for our MVC trophies it's probably going to double at least, maybe even more.
Yeah. The petty cash is running dry on the MVCs, which are very real, and they exist in the VMAC. So, Brandon,
of course, you did forget to give it out 1 week, but maybe that was a cost-saving measure.
Right, exactly. We didn't know at that point, right? In this economy, MVCs, I mean, come on. And here we are. Here we are to celebrate this. And, of course, if you're joining 3 in, 3 out for the first time, well, welcome. Great to have you here. Things we're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about the big overarching stuff, the beautiful stuff you heard last night on the Instant Reaction show. That was awesome with Brandon and Adam. And you go out to the other pundits of the national media. They're going to talk about the big things, but on 3 in, 3 out, we like to look at the micro moments of the game, the nooks and the crannies, if you will. And frankly, this show is for Seattle Seahawks fanatics. I don't know why you'd listen to this. If you're not, you're probably a psycho. If you are not a Seahawks fan, this show, you have challenges. I probably want to meet you. You're probably interesting at the very least. But this is for Seahawks fans who want to get into those little nuggets. And Brandon, there's this one thing that happens. I always forget it. Thank goodness you're here. I had to write it down last week, Brandon. I had to go Han Solo and write this down. We have but one rule on 3 in, 3 out. I always forget the rule, but you're back. Please
Yeah.
tell the good people.
Yeah, it's weird because
what's the
I
rule?
feel like at this point you should have a post-it note on your monitor next to "Don't forget to give away the MVC." And the other one would say, "When we win, we start with an in."
We start with it in. That's exactly right. And you know what? You think after all these years I could start a show properly, but the proof's in the pudding. But here we are, Brandon. We're starting with an in. Why don't we just jump right to the lusciousness, because we got a lot to cover tonight. What do you say?
I would. That's not the right button.
Nice. Hey, listen, I get a mulligan, you get a mulligan, we meet in the middle, and away we go.
I got 8
But our
buttons here.
Seahawks,
Give me a
Brandon.
break. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
bound to press the right one eventually.
you're pushing all my buttons, Brandon. That's what's happening on this end. I got to tell you, Brandon, our Seahawks, they did not need a mulligan. Coach Carroll did not need a mulligan. Coach Hurt did not need a mulligan. Straight away, this was a lovely, lovely game. And small victory lap on the idea that I've been saying that I thought for a long time now, weeks, that the defense was better, showing out, just getting more consistent. And like the barometer of better for the Seahawks defense, it's not often the splashy stuff, it's the consistent play of Jordan Brooks. And for this first in here, Brandon, we're at quarter one, 6:18 to go. I'm going to just entitle this. I don't always do that, Brandon, but here we are. I'm going to call this "Brooks is fully back," the in. So we're up 7-0 at this point. It's a 2nd and 2. San Diego's got the ball on their own 42-yard line.
Definitely
Herbert's
San
in
Diego.
shotgun. Definitely San. I'm not stopping that because they're going to move back. Like,
Right. I know.
it's a better city, better vibe, better
It's
people.
a good idea to get ahead
Sorry,
of it.
people.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah, just if I don't stop, they will move back. You know, the San Diego Superchargers here. Allen in motion, right to left on the screen, and Eckler gets a little play action, goes right, doesn't get the ball, and this is like a little wide out. You know, you got Allen dragging across the screen. He tries to get lost in the shuffle, and for so many like weeks and months and years, we've seen these little, across the mesh type things, these little concepts where players get lost and our guys and our linebackers are lost and we're just overcommitted. This particular play, you see Herbert kind of hit his back foot and Brooks is about 9 yards off of Allen at this point. However, it's not that he's 9 yards off. He's supposed to be. He's covering a zone. But it's the early recognition from Brooks, like when he sees like, oh, this ball's going to Allen. And by the time the ball gets to Allen, he's about 3 yards in closing, and then on contact, it's like a half-yard gain. Brandon, this was just lovely. And then, by the way, do you know what happens? You know how we like to say the play before the play. Do you know what the next play is in this sequence? Do you remember?
I thought that was a 3rd down. Was that not right before a punt?
This is 2nd down, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 8.
Oh,
we're up
all right.
7-0.
Yeah. Okay. What happened next?
So yeah, that's okay. It's okay if you say, you know what, dude, I don't remember. It's okay.
It was the Ryan Neal play.
The Ryan Neal interception play, right? So the beautiful part about this is it's the thing before the thing. It's the day before the day here. If he gets 4 or 5 yards, which we routinely give up, and it's a 31, 3rd and 2, whatever it is, changes the whole dynamic. Nope. They're in 3rd and long. Herbert takes a shot over the middle. And oh, by the way, right next to Ryan Neal covering downfield, it's Jordan Brooks. And Neal kind of are converging at once. Neal gets the lovely pick off. I'm giving us a kind of a 2-for-1, but Jordan Brooks is back. He's playing phenomenal football again. And when we see, it's like it's a barometer, Brandon. When you see that as right, we are right as a defense.
Yeah. Brooks was the number 3 ranked defender by PFF on the day for the Seahawks. So right up there with among the best there. And the other so when I was thinking of 3rd down stops, it was the drive right before with the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
He had Austin Eckler going to the right side, and Brooks was there to make the tackle. He kept it to a 1-yard gain. It was 3rd and 2. And then that was right before the 4th and 1 stop. So on 2 different situations here in the first quarter, he had the play right before the very next play. So I think it was important in a couple situations. And I talked about this a little bit with Adam in the postgame show, is that they kept themselves out of a lot of those 3rd and short situations. They stopped the Chargers on the early downs really well.
Yeah, it was, and that was mainly a lot of times because our run defense was phenomenal. So good, so fast. So like, I realize the Chargers offensive line is not, they're not gangbusters, but this is not by any means not a poor offense. They've been struggling a little bit, obviously a little bit lately, a little bit herky-jerky. Certainly missing the fact that Keenan Allen played, but not really, like coming off of those types of injuries, you never really know what you're going to get. So we get a little lucky there, if you will, again, but our run defense was stellar. And again, that's with Brooks doing his thing, filling in right at the line there. So I love what I'm seeing, man. I am very, very I'm more convinced than ever that this defense can be a top 15, type defense, and then maybe get into the top 12, top 10, but by year's end, we'll see. I really think it's going to be, knock on wood, 100% tethered to health. We have, just like many other teams, but we have a couple of key dudes that we don't have the depth. The depth is not there. Like it's pretty, you got like people who are like I-shaped, and what do they call it? Like I-shaped and T-shaped people, like people that are like both broad and deep or whatever it is, right? Seattle is narrowly skilled, and then there's not a lot of depth after that. We're not broad quite now, but that's not going to happen very often when you're starting 6 rookies. It's almost impossible to be both. It's impossible. Like you're starting 6 rookies and you have a scattering, a wealth of depth. It doesn't typically happen that way. So, but I think this defense is going to accelerate into the second half of this year, man. And I'm extremely excited for it, Brandon. Brandon, we got some outs to get to, my man. And
with
this was
12 ends,
this
how
was
do, how
the
do we
harder
fit
part.
in any outs?
I want to, because there was so much good. We got some outs. Why don't we whammy that thing, and we'll hit one. What do you say? All right, we whammied. I see some comments in there that butt-fumble Sanchez is better than Aikman, and end zone Orlovsky. Yeah, Kale ain't wrong. Kale's not wrong. Mark Sanchez, he feels very vapid to me. Like he just gets away with it because he's a handsome used to be QB. So he just gets away with being very surface level. And I want my color
handsome enough. I get what you're saying.
Oh, hey, listen, I will take, if I had to, give me Sanchez in the booth all day over Aikman. Aikman doesn't really do much for me. I'm in the, I'd say, vast minority that I think Chris Collinsworth is an excellent color commentator. I actually still like him better than Romo. I think he's still the best in the game. And I know people so think that's incorrect, but I still think that he's the best at what he does. All right. Not the best of what we did here, Brandon. It is Q3, 3:50 to go, 24-14, 2nd and 12. We're on the Chargers 20-yard line. Now, mind you, this particular drive was that monster drive that Geno put together. Lockett stringing together all sorts of catches. When we had to have a long, consistent drive, we found, we got it done and we got points. My big challenge in this game was, it was definitely an Uncle Will tight end day, and even a Colbert Parkinson, tight end appreciation day. Noah Fant, he didn't really show up for me, and a couple different ways. This particular one, so in this particular play, he goes down the seams 5 wide, and he's kind of playing kind of big slot off of cross. He just goes down the seam, rips up. He's off the ball nicely. This is the play where Geno lays that ball in there, zips it in where he would have and should have and could have caught at the 1-yard line. It is like just over number 49 Tranquil, who's pretty good. And in between, I think it's Aberley, the free safety. I think that's how you say his name. It is such a good pass. And Fant just doesn't come down with it. I'm not saying it's a easy catch. It's not a pitching catch. However, the talent, the type of dude he is. I praised him last week for being like, I didn't give him an in, but I said, hey man, I'm enjoying 6-7 targets, Fant all day. Fant's got to come down with that, man. Like we ended up with 3 anyway, after another sack on third down, right? We end up with 3. Great. Huge points, huge time off the clock, magnificent, but in so many ways. I need Fant to play bigger. I need Fant to show up a little more and play bigger. He's getting the first out.
I think that's fair. He didn't have an outstanding game. I don't even know if he had a good game. I suppose when it came to maybe some of the run blocking, pass blocking, he was fine. But in terms of being a pass catcher, like you would have expected him to be as part of the trade, even looking at the Pro Football Focus metrics on this, he was graded second worst on the offense. So they saw it too. You saw it. Not a good day for Noah Fant.
Yeah. I guess the stats don't lie there, Brandan. Yeah, I mean, any other pieces of it hitting for you, or let me ask you this: how did you celebrate National Tight Ends Day? What did you do?
I watched football, and the Seahawks won. So I think every Sunday will have to be National Tight Ends Day from now on, just to keep the momentum rolling. I thought that was fun, to turn an out to an in. I liked how many 3 tight end sets they were using in this game. I liked, Colby just had the one catch, but it was kind of a fun catch. I wish, I kind of would have liked to see, if we're giving outs to tight ends, I'd kind of like to see Colby like run into the 5'11" safety rather than trying to jump over him. He's 6'7". And lay the dude out and keep running.
Cut back to the middle of the field. Don't be, and Carroll kind of, Carroll was joking, but Carroll was kind of laying into him on the sidelines, like, hey, look, I jumping towards the sidelines there. I agree. I'd like to see him cut back in there. And then, of course, there was our stalwart there, Uncle Will. He was, on National Tight Ends Day. He was everything early. They did say an interesting stat very quickly about Uncle Will during the game, or maybe it was on one of the shows later, that he is now 19 of 20 on the year for, targets and receptions. 19 receptions on 20 targets. And he had that one.
For Disley?
Yeah.
He had that one drop. It was
that one drop that caught that was the last time Adam lost the bet. Apparently, the dude's been on absolute fire, which is
that was a bad drop, and that Noah Fant, it should have been a catch, but it was not officially a drop by the statistics. But that's one you'd like to see him come down with.
Yeah, I'd like to see the statistician, call it correctly. That's something you got to catch. All right, Brandon, we got more ins and more outs to get to. Why don't we whammy this thing and head on over to in number 2? What do you say? There's that music. There it is. It's lovely. Yeah, absolutely. Felicia, hey, this, like, I tried to see it on the screen there saying picking a few nits. Like, she ain't wrong. Here's the deal, Felicia. 37-23.
No, this is our protector, Phil.
Oh, that's Phil? In as Felicia, 2004.
Phil, Alicia.
Right, well,
I think it's Phil and Alicia.
All right, so RIF, reading is fundamental, and me fail English, that's impossible here. I'm like, that's an interesting way to spell Felicia, but I'm going to go with it. I'm having a day here. I'm on some sort of a heater. That's hilarious. But yes, definitely picking a few nits there, Felicia, and with that, scored that last touchdown. They scored that last touchdown super late. This is the best. Just put stuff on the board, and I'll
hit the whammy again.
A new show. Nice. There you go. We got 2 intros, 2 outros, the whole thing already. All right, so Brandon, this is great. Quarter 2, 10:21 to go, 17-7. San Diego's at the 20-yard line. It's 2nd and 10. Remember, so it's 17-7, and then it's after that D. Eskridge fumble. So so they get the ball back, and they've gotten in great positions. They're at our 20, and it's 17-7. Okay, here we go. So Nwosu gets a free release, or at least it looks like a free release off the left edge, and Gerald Everett could just kind of chucks him real quick. And then Gerald Everett escapes for a tight end screen, just hits the flat real quick. Nice play. By the way, the Chargers can still screen. Eckler screens well. Gerald Everett screens well. This time, what I loved is we haven't seen a lot of Quandre Diggs this year. He's been, again, more and more solid as the ship has righted, but he hasn't had the big splash plays yet. Typically, he's been good for anywhere from 3 to 4 interceptions a year as a Seahawk, and even when he was a Lion, he's goose egg so far, so hasn't made the big plays. Maybe just battling back from the injury that he suffered late last year. Who knows? But similar to the Jordan Brooks play, this particular time, G gets out there, Everett, and then Diggs recognizes it, and he's like 9 yards deep. But not only does he have to just recognize it and get to the ball, he's also got the right tackle. His name is, I think, Pipkins. So the right tackle is storming towards GE, and Quandre is like full steam ahead, and he has to pump on the brakes, let Pipkins slide right by, and then still get like an ankle tackle going on GE, gets him down to it was still a 6-yard gain. I get that. It's all good. You'd rather see that be a 1-yard gain or 2-yard gain. But if he doesn't tackle him, he's gone for at least a first down and maybe quite a bit more. Gerald Everett's still a pretty darn skilled tight end. Just, again, recognition, speed, open field tackling, and he had a okey doke, a right tackle that was sent to destroy him, did a good job, and makes a really nice tackle. So no one's going to talk about this play, I don't think, because I think the very next play, I think it's the very next
touchdown.
play.
Yeah,
it's a Williams touchdown. So, which is that stinks. And that's the one where Cody Barton doesn't understand where he is for a hot minute. It just kind of scoots right by him. Wasn't Cody's fault per se, but my word, pay attention. He kind of just drags across and Tariq Woolen gets caught in a mesh. So the next play is a touchdown, but it doesn't take away from this play. And since no one's talking about Diggs, and I want to increase the Hawker here, and I want to bring Diggs back into this positivity circle, he's getting this in, Brad. He's wearing it.
I like that you're giving him the in here. This was a play that was definitely on my watch list for you to add to your 3 in 3 out, because as soon as I saw it happen, I was like, oh, that's a great play. And then I was waiting to see what would happen on the very next play, because it created a third down. I was expecting, okay, that the Seahawks would get the stop in this moment. Maybe they have to kick a field goal. It gets botched. Maybe they go for it on 4th down because they don't have a great field goal kicker. I felt like it was a play like that could have led to something more. And then, they go up the touchdown on the next play. But it shouldn't diminish an in-worthy play, and so I'm glad you're giving Quandre Diggs the in.
Yeah, man. Thank you, because it's not always was it the play before the play, because in this particular case, the next play wasn't there. Right?
It wasn't that great.
But it's still like the possibility of making the right play at the right moment, and setting it up for success. And then you know what? You tip your cap. They run a nice concept. Williams gets open and finds pay dirt, and they're going to do that. And they're San Diego still, the LA Chargers still a pretty good team. Nice. Now we got Felicia back commenting. Why'd you take it there? Why'd you say with Mr. Phil's?
Yeah, I like the one where Diggs smacked GE after he dropped it. But even if Everett caught it, Diggs would have held him short of the line to gain. And that was I think a key 3rd down late in the game where the Chargers were driving. And he just met him there right as the ball was getting there. And a nice, I don't know if that was a drop. Was it a pass breakup? I'm sure he felt the footsteps of Diggs.
Yeah, he knew that the next day it'd be on 3 in 3 out. He just knew, and he's like, well, I can't be part of this. But now he is part of this because Felicia, Mr. Phil, coming in hot with that. But we were texting about that, being like, yep, there's GE's one egregious drop he's going to do per game, because he is a pretty talented tight end. But we saw last year he did that in a Seahawks uniform every now and again, or had the weird fumble. I still think he's a pretty good NFL baller. And I wish
he got his one revenge play in this game. He didn't have a revenge game. He had a revenge play. And
yes, but when you get smacked at home and lose by 2 touchdowns, there is no revenge game at that point. All right, so what was that? That was a in. Yeah, that was an in. Yeah, that was the in. All right, we got 2 more. Yeah, we got 1 more out. Nope, 2 more outs and 1 more in. Let's win.
Stop doing math. Let's just get to the next out.
Yeah, no more math. All right, let's leave this thing out with some math. It's 17-14, quarter 2, 2nd and 8. Seattle's on our own 38-yard line, Brandon. Okay, so the out here, now it's 17-14. So we've effectively let them back in the game. Remember, we're up 17-0. Okay, they make it 17-7. Chargers are going to score points. Nothing you could do about that. Makes sense. The D. Eskridge fumble, 17-14. Okay, not great, but we're on the road and they're right back in this thing. All right, let's stabilize. Let's go get some points. Let's just let Geno do his thing. So it's 2nd and 8, quarter 2 on our own 38. This is the particular play where we actually execute a really, 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 really good wide receiver screen to Marquise Goodwin. So hike, turn, fires the edge. Goodwin takes it. Goodwin still obviously had a great game. Goodwin still got it. 20 yards downfield. I'm sitting there out of the couch. I'm about ready to text some people that we actually ran an effective screen. And then the little yellow flag hits the dirt. DS gets called for, I guess pass interference or blocking a little too soon within the concept. It gets called back. It was, I know we're picking nits here, but again, it's like, man, but in the moment when it's 17, we had a punt. So next play is a DJ Dallas little out to the flat, does not get the first down. We're giving them the ball back. We're up 7-0. So, I know we could point to DS and the fumble and be like, dude, what are you doing? Of course. Right. It's like, and they could say, well, Waldron, what the hell are you doing? Why are you running a pitch to DS anyway? Sure. This is the one for me. It's like, dude, this is the kind of stuff, a little pitch where you miss the fumble. Yeah. Coach Carroll's not going to be where you fumble it. Coach Carroll's not going to be happy with you. This one where you're just not timing it right. And Carroll's like, yeah, he's doing everything he's got to get on the field. He's really almost there. He's really almost there. But then he's not there. Then he's like, he's not timing it the right way. And the thing is, if he's a half a second later, Goodwin still has the same exact run, most likely, right? So I'm going to give it to D. I don't like doing it, but he's wearing the out. And mainly because he took away our most successful screen in, I don't know, Brandon, 3.5 years, 4 years. I don't remember the last time we ran a good screen.
I don't know if you need to go back that far, but it was definitely a penalty you hate to see. If I'm trying to pick plays by D. Eskridge that I'd prefer to have back, it would definitely be that turnover, because then it gave the Chargers a short field. They score easily. I thought that was the more egregious play to me. Phil coming in saying D gets the MUC, most unvaluable cranny. And with a couple plays like that, the penalty and the turnover, he made it harder on the Seahawks, especially in the first half. Well, shoot, he didn't have a great game overall. And we saw him back taking kickoffs. I guess while we're talking special teams, is your last out a special teams one?
It might be.
Okay.
yes, it is.
Off.
It is.
I'll hold off then.
Yeah.
Because
we'll hold on that.
Teams issues in this particular game.
We're picking nits, so might as well. Yeah.
we gotta pick the nits. So D. Eskridge overall, not a great game. I don't even think he had a catch for any gains in this game. So he was
he had
overall
the one
negatives
jet sweep
on
for
the
4
stats.
yards.
Okay.
He had the 4-yard jet sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not good. He was ineffective. And the thing is, in a game where DK goes out, and I saw a comment earlier, like, again, thank the maker, that looks not so bad. We'll see what that means from a timeline perspective, but looks like he avoided a disastrous surgery type thing with any of the CLs in that type of game. And like, I'll give Mark Sanchez credit. As opposed to the other week where Matt Millen knew no other Seahawk besides DK, did not know a Seahawk. I could at least tip the cap and say Mark Sanchez was ready to be like, ooh, with Metcalf out, like, look for D. Eskridge to, step up and be the man who get some opportunities. Then he had the fumble and other things he did poorly. So I've been the probably biggest, I wouldn't say fan, because that's not it, biggest cheerleader for this guy to turn the corner. He hasn't yet. The only thing I'll say is, in the times where I've started to give up on him, like I'm done with him, he's come out and had the better games. So I'm hopeful that this is some DCH reverse jinx juju where I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of done with with D. Eskridge. And hopefully then he shows up and proves us wrong, Brandon, because I'm ready. I'm ready to be wrong again. At all times, I'm ready.
Yeah, well, and Pete Carroll giving him some leeway. We heard in his press conference this past week that he likened him to Golden Tate in terms of his development time. So, yeah, they're not ready to give up on him either.
Yeah, no, Pete's a very patient and at this point,
maybe sometimes too patient.
Maybe, but he's a darn good coach, man. He's a darn good coach. Hey, Phil mentioned the MUC. And for those out there that are MCU fans, big trailer drop today. The Ant-Man and Wasp, I think it's called Quantumania or something like that. The new trailer dropped. It looks fantastic, and it's all the villain. This is kind of the first entry of Kang the Conqueror, past the Loki show. So the whole new through line, the whole new series where Kang is like the main villain. This is the first one to bring that in. So for the comic fans out there, whether it's DC or Marvel or the indie stuff, check out the new Ant-Man and Wasp trailer. It's a doozy. All right.
Okay. While we're on the MCU, in Epcot, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, the best ride in all of Disney right now.
Damn! Wow. When did that open? Because last time, it's been years since I've been there. So
I think it's new because they wouldn't let you. I don't think you could fast pass it. Yeah.
So was it one of the ones where it's like the motion type thingy, like we're in the thing?
No, it's a roller coaster. Yeah.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. It's kind of a combination of Space Mountain and how would you describe it? You get the kind of the inside darkness of Space Mountain, but it's also kind of a show going on, and you get the music from Guardians. It was good times. We should get back to talking football.
I mean, I guess we could. All right, hit the thing. We got the end. Now I want to just go listen to the Guardians Volume 1 and 2 soundtrack because it's just phenomenal. Okay,
fire up the Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It's fun stuff.
September.
Absolutely. Always, right? All right. So speaking of September, that's football season. We're smack in it now. I know it's October, people. I get it. But this is the last in Q3, 10-15, 1st and 10. We got the ball again, and we're at the 20-yard line. Okay. So this is the same drive as earlier when we're talking about Fant dropping the ball later. We're at our own 20-yard line, 1st and 10, 10-15 to go. Okay. Now we got Fant stacked left. He motions left to right. And on this particular play, just to kind of like what happened on this play, this is a Ken Walker 19-yard run. Great. We are not, as much as he's deserving, and I even made him the thumbnail, Ken Walker's not going to get the in here because that's for other shows. He's wonderful. What I loved about this play, and many of the plays, whether it was DJ Dallas or Ken Walker, the left side blocking, and I would say literally from the center over, and that's not to diminish what was happening with Beefy Boy Haynes, because often he was pulling over anyway, and Lucas was doing his own types of pancakes. But our ability to run to the left consistently throughout this game, this is kind of the moment that I think it was exemplified, not even the best, but just one of the moments. It gives a guy like Ken Walker what I would describe as a choose your own adventure. And that's dangerous if you're another team. First of all, you give him one decent hole. Okay. He's going to get positive yards very, very often. And he obviously can break it. You give him a choose your own adventure where as the linebacker's like, I don't know. Is he going to cut? Is he going to go wide on this? Because he can, because Cross has got his dude 5 yards blown towards the sideline, or is he going to cut this back in because Blythe has sealed his guy and kind of got to the second level? And then on this particular play, he takes the ladder route. Blythe does his job, cuts it back in. He's gone for 19. But I want to give that big fat in that left side of that line, including Blythe. I thought Blythe had one of his strongest pass blocking games I've seen. He was downfield consistently 3-4 yards, and then Walker behind him and then storming past him. So quick in, left side blocking from Cross on over. Dude, it was really good. I know San Diego, LA is one of the weaker defensive teams, when it comes to
Right.
stopping the run. It showed, no doubt. I understand why they are that now. It doesn't take away from the execution. The execution was brilliant. And I think snowballable, if you will, as we take on some other opponents. So love that in a ton. Pete Carroll ball all day long, right?
I actually think that there could be even room for improvement when it comes to the run blocking game, because I thought it was more adequate than excellent.
Really?
And yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought so much more of it was, was Ken Walker doing things with what he had, which was, equally great. I mean, I think about one of the runs that he made to the left where, gosh, they gave him just a little bit of a crease, and he breaks through an arm tackle of the defensive lineman and is able to get 3, 4, 5 extra. I think it was even more than that. I think he was able to bowl ahead for the first down. If I'm picking lineman to give the into in this game, I go to the play where Walker runs to the right side. He's about 4 yards short of the first down. And you have Abe Lucas coming in, starting to push. And then I don't know if it was Blythe or if it was Haynes that came in that also pushed Lucas, and they were able to pick up the first down just with the big boys pushing Ken Walker.
Yeah, that was awesome, right? And that was one of the ones that were on the sheet. Like I said, it could have gone through 12 amazing ends. That was on the sheet too. I don't know why my mind's not working that well tonight. Jamaican bobsled movie, John Candy. It's not the era, but Cool Runnings. Yeah.
Cool Runnings.
And while that was happening, I just got these like Cool Runnings vibes, like of Abe just like leaning into the sled. I'm like, this is amazing, super cool, and just trudging it forward. And then of course DJ, has his game sealer, right? So did really well there too. No, but it's funny you say that you thought the line blocking was adequate. I was, if you listened during the week when you were on the vacay, Adam and I were kind of like two ships passing in the night where he was all gangbusters about the run block. And I was like, I don't really think so yet. I think it's been Ken Walker being special and Penny. And then I see a lot of like missed opportunities. This game, I saw way, way, way more push and larger holes. Again, you give Walker a couple of choices, and I think he's absolutely deadly. He's by the way, turns out Brandan, you are allowed to draft a running back in the second round, Brandan. It's okay. It's okay if you draft an incredible talent in the second round. And heck, by the way, you actually could do it in the first too. It's okay, Brandan, or the third.
I would like to thank all of the teams that chose not to draft him in the first, or else he wouldn't be on our team.
Brandan, it's bad process. That's what they say, Brandan.
Right.
It's bad. It's not how you roster build. Not in 2022. Nope.
Don't do it.
You can't have multiple good running backs in 2022 Brandan, it's a passing league, Brandan. It's you don't even need linemen. You don't even need linemen. They use the little Nerf ball out there now, the one that whistles when you throw it 80 yards. That's the league now. No running backs, no linemen, and you do not draft a running back in the second round. You don't do it. It's bad process. How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry for thinking that, although I've never thought that. But I'll take the L on that, I
suppose. Sorry. All right. Hit the whammy. I need it. Oh God. Hit it, please.
How many whammies should I hit? How much longer do you need to recover?
All the whammies. Just play Freebird. I'll be back in time. All right, here we go. All right. So last out, we'll keep it dead simple. You hinted at it earlier. I would like I don't care who it is. It can be the robot from Rocky IV. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The robot from Rocky IV should fair catch punts that are fair catchable.
Thank you for going here with one of your outs.
And catch the freaking ball in the air. Now, all the people, everybody who said, we got to stop Tyler Lockett from blah, 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 blah. And I kind of went along like a lemming and rode off the cliff. And shame on me for not having more of a backbone on this one. The fact is, Tyler Lockett runs up and fair catches the ball. And he's okay with fair catching it because there's no yak involved and he doesn't get hit. He likes that. That's actually kind of his jam. Yeah, he's been doing that for years, and now we know why. DJ Dallas cost us about, what do you think, 45 yards?
Oh my gosh.
54 in total?
Yeah, if you're going to go add it all up.
Quick.
I feel like Tyler's better at faking it too, as the one, and judging which ones will go into the end zone and which ones won't go into the end zone. Yeah, I think we need to now. Part of my deal was I was lobbying for Eskridge to go back there and return punts, but if he can't catch the ball on a short pitch from Geno, maybe catching punts isn't his deal either.
Yeah,
maybe. Can we find somebody? Marquise Goodwin can't catch punts. That dude's super athletic.
He's really good. I mean, hey, every single time we get to victory formation and he gets to do a backflip, and then Mark Sanchez says, "Oh, look at DJ Dallas." Like, oh, dude, that's not DJ Dallas, but it's okay, Mark. It's okay. It's all right, Mark. I'm not going to rag on you too many more times. But yeah, man, we need to fair catch those. We gave up a lot. We gave up a lot of territory and ended up costing us 2 points, right? Ended up being a safety on one of them. And there was others just like at the 30 or 25 yard line. It's like, dude, just go get the ball. Like, that's your job. Don't let it bounce and go back 15 more freaking yards. They say it's a game of inches. So let us not give away chunks of yardage when it's preventable. Now, if you've got to scream upfield and it's going to be super difficult, then fine, whatever. No reason taking extra risk on a risky play like that. But let's say the majority of those, they didn't seem to be the case to me. It just seemed like he had time, decided not to get under it, lets it bounce, and then it didn't work out our way. So I don't know. I don't know if they look at that in the room and they talk about it and they're like, okay, DJ, if you're not doing this, let's change it up. We'll see. But it just irked me. And again, in a game where we win by 14, it should have been a win by 20. We're going to talk about this on 3 and 3 out. And that's the way it goes.
Dallas hurt us on field position.
Good. Yeah, he did. And not good, but yes, he did. All right. So Brandan, the nice part is before we get to the NBC, I won't forget this week, but I like to marinate in all the ins. And to do so, we've got, we started the rule, which you already repeated it. I don't remember the rule, but I remember the caveat that not only when we win, the thing happens, but we also get the brand in. This is yours. You get it. It's your show. Take it away. Tell me what you feel.
It is my brand in, but I do have some people in the chat as we go along. They're kind of lobbying because it didn't make the in list. I don't know if this was necessarily a thing to discuss, because I feel like the Pete belly slide movement at Geno, I feel like this was covered extensively. If you listen to the press conferences, Pete was asked about it multiple times. Like, what were you doing with Geno there? Because, but it did lead to that throw of the day, which that just a dart to Tyler Lockett for a first down. But no, I'm gonna. You know what though? I think I am gonna go with Geno because. Okay, Ryan, belly, hands. Look, they're like, it's like chanting Freebird with these guys.
He's like, Geno. I did like that, Pete was like not going to give up. He was like, Geno. And he's like, he kind of, it was tight. I loved it. And I'm so glad we're celebrating. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm glad too. But I am going to go all the way back to, let's see, it was the second drive of the game for the Seahawks. Going to go to, where is it here? 3rd and 1, 8:56 left in the first quarter. The Seahawks on the Chargers 37, right in that territory to where, man, if you don't pick up a 3rd and 1, then Pete might be punting the football here, especially with it being early in the game. I hate these particular plays because, 3rd and 1, you could be running it. You're picking that up, especially with the way that Ken Walker was playing, but he had just gotten knocked back 4 yards on the first down. No, that was a different play. What am I talking about here?
It's okay.
We're going off the rails. We're going off the rails.
Hey,
it's time to see. I got to murder my thirst right now, real quickly.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yes, this train wreck brought to you.
Brought to you by Liquid Death.
Yeah.
All right. 8:56 left in the first quarter, 3rd and 1. And the Seahawks, yes, on the Chargers' 37-yard line. They decide to drop back for a pass here. And one thing that the thing that I really like about this play is that Geno drops back. He's looking to the right side. He wants to get it out to Ken Walker, who's just running a little route out in the flat, just to get that 1 yard that you need. But then you got Kyle Van Noy coming off the edge, and he is right in the way. If Geno would have thrown it, Van Noy bats the pass up in the air, maybe bats it down, maybe bats it to himself, catches it for a pick 6. And so Geno had the recognition of, okay, I'm not going to go this way because I got a super athletic dude running at me. I don't know if I can lob it over the head. We saw a lot of batted passes even by Justin Herbert in this game. So he avoids that, and then he moves up into the pocket, and you start seeing Geno scramble drill time. And he sees Marquise Goodwin out to the left on the sidelines. He hits him for the play. Goodwin goes down the field for a 21-yard gain, sets him up inside the red zone. Ultimately, Goodwin's the one who gets the 20-yard touchdown pass just a couple plays later. I like the chemistry with Geno, with Goodwin, and his ability to scramble around, find Goodwin in that moment, and Geno Smith getting the brand in, since you won't give any ins to Geno Smith.
Fair enough. When he's the star, I try not to. However, still deserve it. I did give him one last week. I did. All right, he deserved it too. That was a great play. It was a wonderful play. It was everything you laid out there was the process, the poise of being, just being freaking cool, just being okay. And then as soon as he escapes and he gets to where he's getting. And then the cool part from our viewership perspective was we could still see Goodwin in screen. It's like, oh, he's right there. So as soon as he starts like his little thing, my brain, I'm like, he got open and he was easy pitch and catch, lovely play. Very often dudes are just off screen by a few yards or many yards, and you don't know what the hell is going to happen. You're like, it's a game of Tecmo. Just huck it to Bo Jackson. Who cares? Let's see what happens. This one was a little bit more like watching the all 22s, but sideways, Paper Mario style. And you could see it right there. And I loved it, man. And it's a great in. I love that it's yours. And I love that Geno, it's like one of those things. It's like, oh, well, he's super efficient. He's 209 yards and he's the perfect, I've said this, I don't know how many times to you, Brandon, throughout the years now, that my biggest love in Supersonics world was when Sean Kemp would have the game when the Supersonics always won, which was 18 points, 9 or 10 rebounds. He did his, and then somebody else did the major stuff, whether Detlef Schrempf or the glove, whatever. And the Sonics blew a team, going away, blow them out. And then there's the games where Kemp had to go score 37 for some reason. And those games, nearly always lost those games because he wasn't supposed to be that guy, not his thing. So Geno, 74% completion rate with a couple drops and not a good start, by the way. That first drive, kind of crunchy. He had the pick, he had a couple, like overthrows, the bullet to DK, the bullet down the seam to Fant that didn't go the right way. From those moments on, he was nearly perfect, man. And if Noah Fant comes down with that touchdown reception, it's 3 touchdowns. So Geno has been so darn good. And by the way, I want to end this with, where are you on this one? Is it MVPino or is it MV Geno? Because the flock spoke last night, but Adam keeps saying MVPino, and that makes me a little uncomfortable. I gotta be honest.
It makes me uncomfortable too, but I think that's part of the charm with it, and that's why I feel like I have to embrace the Pino.
Gotcha. It's like I'm a little flocker. It's a little It's a little uncomfortable, but yet the patch
but not
is the patch.
so. But not Russell Wilson Subway commercial uncomfortable. It's like right in that perfect uncomfortable zone, like an Old Spice commercial.
Yeah, it's spicy. Careful. All right, that is the brand in. All right, quickly we're gonna hit the MVC. No, the MVC is not the belly rub, though I love it. No, the MVC is not Brandon's this week, not the Brandon. And recalling the MVC is the most valuable cranny. It's a very physical award. We get it 3D printed. It hits the VMAC. It sits in the lockers. You see it all the time. Players cherish it. I'd love to give an MVC to Miles Adams, who played a really good football game. Just love and shout out to friend of the pod, Miles Adams. However, rules are rules. You can't win an MVC if you don't have, an in. Man, oh man. Left side blocking on those plays, just the blocking from the offensive line. I'll just even give it to Cross. Every time I looked up, Cross is blowing a dude, owing a defender. No, that's a bad way to say it too. He's getting a guy off the line 5 yards to the left. Charles Cross did a great job and a wonderful thing. I'm giving him the MVC in honor of the left side just dominating things. So Cross gets the big MVC for the big in. Hope you're okay with that, Brandon.
I am. I'm glad you clarified some of your language. I mean, it's we were almost in MVPino territory there, and I think it's time to move on.
This has been a show. All right, we're going to get to From the Flock. Brandon, why don't you take the mic, please, and remind the folks how they can become a member of the flock and also get involved with the show, like as we're about to show.
Yes, if you want to get in the flock, you can head on over to getintheflock.com. It works out real well, easy to remember. And if you join at $3 a month or above, it gets you into our Discord, where you can find our 3 in 3 out channel. You can leave all your ins, your outs. If you don't want to participate there, you can reach out to us on Twitter. Use the hashtag 3i30, tweet at Clinton Bond. And yeah, lots of ways. Or shoot, I think I got one through the Seahawkers podcast Facebook page via direct message. There's just all kinds of ways. If you can get it to us now, the best way is the Discord group. It makes it the easiest way to find for Clinton. But yeah, a lot of ways to reach us.
I'll say that Adam is great at laying the guilt on week in, week out about freeloading. And he ain't wrong. He's totally right. 5 shows a week at this point, so if you're listening and you got to give, folks, and you're not chipping in, well then, do better and chip in if you can, of course. If you can't, so it's all good. Just, subscribe, like, share it. It all raises the Hawkra. Brandon, to your point, the Discord, it's $3 a month. It's a ton of fun. So you get in the flock.com, $3 a month, you get in the Discord, and then there's a channel specifically for that. So yes, when it comes to like me not having to chase, where are these things? Are they out on Facebook? Is someone sliding my DMs? Did somebody get my cell phone somehow and they're texting me? It's all good if you did. I'm not going to, I'll be happy with you. But the Discord just keeps it nice and tidy. It's right there. And that's why we're going to start in the Discord. We're going to start from the flock, which is the section we love. We got designed Pete's Beach House, which is, of course, Amy. She goes in 3 phases are rolling. Awesome to see. So this is early in the game. Some of these are chronological. She liked what she was seeing early from the offense, the defense, and the special teams.
Well, yeah, shoot. When you go up as many points as you do right out of the gate against the Chargers, and you look like you're just going to steamroll through this Los Angeles team. Yeah, it was all looking good early on until a couple times in the game where it wasn't. But we ultimately got the big win in the end. The Seahawks were the more dominant team. Carr coming in with the in. I don't know that Irvin is the reason for the defense turning it around, but he's a badass, so I'm giving him the credit.
It was a great post-game interview. It was just cool. The first play, because he was like bottom screen, so it was easier to see number 51. And the very first play that I saw him, I'm like, oh, look, there's a really good football player setting the edge properly and making a play. Like, thank you, Bruce Irvin. He's just a good football player, man. Like it's so great job by Carr. All right, we got Jean Bo. Jean Bo's also, she tweets, she's in Discord. I was going to say she's triple threat. I mean, she maybe she slides in other ways too. Jean Bo's amazing. She goes, Burger, she goes, that's in and out. Get it? Little smiley face. She goes, for Taylor, causing the QB fumble and recovering it, but not quite having the legs to get past, Justin Herbert for the touchdown there. With that, Brandon,
Yeah.
Daryl Taylor, 3 sacks, all of the strip sack fumble variety. That's got to mean something.
He's kind of the new Cliff Averill, because Cliff was outstanding at getting around the edge and being able to just know when to knock that football out. So yeah, I like seeing that. He got the bounce right to him.
Loved it.
I also liked hearing in his post-game press conference that his teammates were giving him all kinds of crap for not being able to outrun the quarterback, and so that makes me happy too. I think that he doesn't need to hear it from fans; he needs to hear it from his teammates, and good for them for getting on him for it.
A little kangaroo court inside the locker room there. It's funny for a dude who's like so quick off the line. When he got the ball in the open field, I was like, oh, you're not particularly fast. And I don't understand why. Like I want to like mash some buttons to help him out. Like I could help you go faster, I think. But Justin Herbert catches him. But
Herbert's fast though. Herbert is pretty fast.
Well, he is 6'6", so his steps they're giant steps. He's a big man. That's just math.
All right. Boy, his biceps coming in with the out. No more trick plays ever, please. And I guess I wouldn't say it's a trick play, because this has to be referencing the Eskridge fumble.
Yeah.
It's just a cutesy play. Like, why do you need to do that? Ken Walker running the ball well. Shoot, we saw DJ Dallas running the football well in the first quarter when he got his carries. Run the football with dudes who are supposed to run the football. And don't get cute and hand it to Eskridge. Every time they try and get cute and do some, play where a guy is doing something that he's not normally supposed to do, it's ended badly for them. So take all those plays out.
It has backfired. Like, it's to the point where I'm surprised Pete allows it. It's like, at some points, Pete, it's just gonna be like it will come up in the room where they're planning, and Pete's gonna have like a veto button. Like, no, like he deserves some veto chips at this point. But no, we're not. No reason, right? All the reasons though. Josh DeHuman, great follow out on Twitter. He's in the Discord as well. He runs it down right quick. Josh has the right philosophy here, because just listen to this murderer's row. In Geno Smith making smart plays to avoid sacks and lose yardage. Absolutely right. In K9 running like a madman. Lovely. In DJ Dallas being a good relief running back. Funny, not Eskridge. In DT's stopping Eckler on that 4th and inches in the first quarter. They needed that confidence. That was an awesome thing right after the early turnover, right on the deflection. Then he goes out. The refs with all the flags, let the players play. Nice job by Josh DeHuman. Nice ratio there, percentage-wise, of ins to outs, and giving it out to the refs. And Austin Blythe was not offside. So let's just be very clear about that.
Yeah, that was a head-scratching play. I think it was because Blythe turned his head like this, really quickly.
Totally allowed as a center. Totally allowed. So
it's totally allowed, but I feel like the ref was, I don't know,
a jerk.
He was being a jerk.
He was being
obviously
big fat jerky jerk.
Hey, someone who's not a jerk, Corey Coleman coming in with a $9.99 super chat. Go Hawks. Welcome back, Brandon. This team is closer to a Super Bowl than we think. Man, with Geno playing like MVPino. Now that I know that it bothers you. See, it bothered me at first with Adam. Now that I know that it bothers you, now I'm going to be like him and use it on you.
I get that's how the nickname Johnny Parmesan came to be for one of my best buddies in the world. He's a 5'7" or so Irish guy from Long Island, and my buddy Steve one day, I grew up in a very Italian, Italian town. And one day Johnny Parmesan's kind of making fun of Italians, and my buddy Steve goes, whoa, settle down, Johnny Parmesan. And that was about 25 years ago. He's been Johnny Parmesan ever since, and
stuck ever since.
That's the way. So if MVPino makes me think of Johnny Parmesan, I can live with it.
The snail coming in with a $5 super chat. Spicy in the Denver Donkeys for keeping our pick in the top 10.
Careful.
Currently at number 6.
It's spicy.
It's spicy.
Careful. Yeah, it turns out, is it Brett Rippin? I know it's Rippon's nephew, but turns out Brett Rippon
Brett or
is
Brent.
Yeah, Brent. It's a B. You never trust a Brad or a Brent. Turns out he's not good at football either. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go figure.
Thank you, John Schneider. Yeah, go figure. All right, where did we leave
Henrik
off? I think
Willicious for real in
Henrik,
the
yes.
Discord. Into Puna for the beautiful pass
Puna.
deflection. And Puna, not the
played
only
good.
one. You brought him up earlier. Well, Shelby Harris getting one, but you brought up Miles Adams. Miles Adams had the other batted pass. 3 batted passes on the day. A turkey of batted passes for the Seahawks.
Lovely effort throughout, and got Herbert off his spot, and they played really well, man. All right, Car. She said it out. How does a center false start? Like a center could false start, but in this case,
moves the ball, but
right.
Like a lot of times you'll see him rock the football back or replace the football, and that's what I was looking for in the replay, is to see that if he did that with the ball.
No, didn't do that. No,
didn't
do that.
Didn't do that. No.
Nope, didn't do that thing at all, and it was bogus. But then, of course, it just leads to the Geno redemption arc, and that led to the calm down. Just center yourself, and by the way, we haven't mentioned, I don't think, Tyler Lockett's name all but once, but Lockett didn't have huge numbers, but the numbers he had were huge.
Yeah, that to catch that dart from Geno.
Yeah,
Tyler just catches everything you throw at him. All right.
It's true fact. All right, we got Jimbo. I'll take it. Jimbo out, having to burn a timeout to deal with the Blythe false start. She goes, ref, effery. Again, not wrong. We'll move on from this topic, but it was a head scratcher. It was just like, I think Adam said it great last night, recap in reaction show, being like, yeah, the Seahawks are about to run away with it. Like, it was going to be too wide of a disparity. So the refs had to curb it just a little bit to make sure the Chargers had a chance, but ultimately they did not. We were able to overcome even those shenanigans.
Boys biceps coming back in with an in, saying it looks like they held the annual get your catfish together and do your job meeting earlier this year. Out, shouldn't they have that meeting in the preseason? And in wasting a second rounder on a running back. So a lot of stuff to cover here by boys biceps that I think are all good things to cover. Yes, the defensive team, they started doing players meetings apparently, and to get their communication squared away, and it looks like it may have paid off. Yeah, you maybe you do that earlier, but maybe. At least they do it,
okay.
Right?
You can't win the season in the first quarter, Brandon. You just can't.
No, you can't. So they, I don't know why you have to be historically bad before you start turning things around either.
Well, that's, if you ever joined a bowling league, that's called sandbagging, right?
Oh,
yeah,
right.
You drill your average way down so that throughout the year you could bowl your 212s and look like a bowling god. Everybody knows that. All right, we got Frost in the Discord.
Oh, before we get there though, going back to the second rounder for a running back, we saw the Jets trade for James Robinson today.
What'd they give up?
What's that?
Well, I said, what'd they give up? Do we know yet?
Oh, they gave up a 6th rounder that could be a 5th round pick. So that it's a really good deal. James Robinson's a really good running back. Now, okay, if you're just measuring talent to talent, like if you're doing the lineup in the schoolyard, you probably take Christian McCaffrey before you take James Robinson. But if you're attaching value to it, and you got to give up how many picks to get Christian McCaffrey versus a 6th, maybe a 5th rounder for James Robinson, that's a no-brainer.
I am with you. I'm with you.
49ers got fleeced. That's all I want to say.
Yes, the nice part. There's 2 things to take away from that. The 49ers forever fleeced, and it's bad process if you take a great running back in the 2nd round. Just remember that always. Never a bad process by Frost in to Clint Hurt for dialing up one hell of a ball game or a game plan. You know what, man? I don't, it's easier for me to recognize an offensive game plan, and I'm trying to get better. And I mean that sincerely. Like, I'm trying to study the game more and just like listen to other pods who really follow the X's and O's to get into the defensive stuff. What I do know is that they're allowing the players to do the things they're better at and get out of the read and react 3-4 and and not saying it, hey, now all of a sudden we're back to 4-3, but playing as if you were, and allowing the dudes like Puna Ford and Quentin Jefferson, et cetera, to go upfield and be more proactive, because we're built on speed. It's a pretty fast team. If we're a fast team but we decide to play slow, that sounds like a bad idea, and I think we've corrected that. So if that's all hail Clint's hurt, I'm here for it.
Decaf Metcalf fan club in putting DJ in the ice, the game, and saving snaps from K9.
Yep. Very, very nice thing there. And we got guarantee, which is always fun to say. When we win, we start with an in. No pre-snap penalties at critical moments. Very true. Out. Dixon getting all his punts off successfully. Then a little laugh out loud. In. No real holding calls and not starting off each drive in a hole. It was nice. The last part there by Garen, it was nice that we didn't find ourselves very often in the 2nd and 12. Like we go get yards, it's a holding call. 1st and 15. And then lo and behold, we were not in 3rd and 12s very often. And the times where we were in like a 2nd and long, we saw a good amount of Uncle Will. We saw a good amount of Lockett, and we saw a good amount of like go get eight yards back and make it manageable. And it was kind of like back into that groove this week. And that was important, I think.
We got Michael Dixon's big balls in the Discord in after so many special teams gaffes. Uncle Will throwing up the old reliable catcher's mitts. He calls hands and catching not 1, but 2 onside kick attempts. Granted, 1 didn't count in the stats. They both counted in my heart.
Love it. Every single week, Michael Dixon's big balls comes in with some great commentary. And I love the fact that pulling out a cranny on the onside kick, and the fact that we called the timeout only to give Uncle Will a second wave at it. And he just was good at it again. So, all right, we got
perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. Will Liam music. I think I got it right this time in the Discord. In everything, out, nothing.
There we go. Nice and concise.
That's it.
Took an arrow to Mike Calf, 11:27, first quarter, 4th down, defensive line did a wonderful job holding the line with no gaps.
Yeah, that was the huge 4th down play after the first interception, and it set the stage for the rest of the game, which was amazing. All right, Jay Scott, AZ12, finally able to watch a game in. Lockett making the effort for his first QB with a diving catch for the first down. And then Geno passed. Lockett got his back. Yeah, that was, it's been kind of funny this year where Lockett just catches the ball and goes down. Lockett actually did have a little yak today. And he had, again, which he does every single week, Brandon, just huge first downs. Biggest moments. Who do you want to throw the ball to? It's Lockett. He's a friggin' machine in the best way possible. And he's our Rocky IV robot. Love him.
Kind of liking some of this downfield stuff with Goodwin, too. It was nice to see Goodwin come out with a good game here.
2 touchdowns. He was killed it.
We got Flocktimus Prime giving an in to Ryan Neal, making plays without even looking.
We didn't mention Ryan, Ryan Neal once, and he littered my inside ledger. So I feel like he was the one dude that was just like left on the on deck circle with like bases loaded and 2 outs, and he didn't get his chance. And that's not fair. So I just want to say thanks to Keith. First of all, thank you, Keith. You're a good dude and you're a friend. Number 2, Ryan Neal was so good in this game. He was that was the thing for me. He was so good. I'm like, I don't even think I could talk about him. Like, that's how good he was.
His stat line in this game is ridiculous for the position that he plays. But 3 pass breakups, 1 interception.
I thought it was 4. No, I thought he had 4 PBUs. Did they lower it?
Maybe some people count the INT as a PBU, but PFF, it has him down as 3. But he was targeted 6 times. It says 4 receptions, but then only 13 yards. So that's nothing. 4 stops on the day, which he led the team with. He had 6 tackles on the day. I feel like I'm missing something too. But yeah, the interception was huge.
Awesome. Yeah, flying around to the ball, like playing such good football, and super happy and proud of him that he went from like, okay, when we play nickel and he's the extra guy, and now he's the guy, and that's the NFL, right? And he's put his time in. He's been good for a number of years. He's a joy to watch out there. You see number 26 around the line. He's a fun player to watch, man. So all love to Ryan Neal. And Keith, thank you for bringing him up, because if we went, an hour plus without saying that dude's name in this game, we should be canceled. So thank you.
All right.
Oh, this is me. This is me. Yeah. Bailey Liborn. Never going to cancel Bailey. Clinton Bond. I have to give it into Pete, and it probably went unnoticed. This is him talking about the Pete calm down gesture we talked about earlier. So Mr. Phil, Bailey Liborn was on the same wave you were as well. Yeah, I did see it, and I thought it was great, man. It's turns out coaching matters, and turns out culture matters. And those things are steady. Those things change the fabric. They change the fabric of an organization by being so consistent. And we've had that literally since Mike Holmgren. We've been radically spoiled as being Seahawks fans since the Holmgren era. We've been a good franchise, and Pete Carroll just continues that. And, I love the fact that Carroll is getting this redemption love and arc this year, Brandon, that it's like, oh, and it's not all about Russ. It's not about, you don't got to put Russ down to elevate Pete Carroll. You could just be like, Pete Carroll's a darn good coach, regardless of the Russ situation. It doesn't, it's like to the point of like, all right, Russ now has a partially torn hamstring, whatever, heal up, lose all your games this year because we have your pick, but no ill will. But Pete Carroll is a darn good coach. So Bailey, I think, highlighted that quite nicely for us.
Beloved human torpedo at Soul Rack out on Twitter. Into Kobe Bryant INT. I don't care that it was called back. Out to right guard, getting thin. Yeah, Curran struggled at right guard after Haynes went down. But yeah, on that Kobe Bryant, gosh, you could give the out to Nwosu for jumping offside, and that is what got the interception called back, because it was just a few plays later. Then the Chargers were able to score. They get more points. It makes it look a little bit closer than maybe the game actually was. I would like to see Kobe get his first INT.
Well, that, and I had a freebie prop bet going, not one that was not on PNW Prop Stars, but one that I placed because I had a $5 scratcher from FanDuel, so I played it. And then when the Chargers scored, it busted for me. So I was like, darn it. It would have paid quite handsomely too. Yeah. So it's okay. It's only $5. So it's not like, it's okay.
Get some of it from Adam. Have him chip you off some of his Fail Mary money from his.
He hit it all. 4 for 4. Winning is better than losing. Scott Campbell, always out there winning on Twitter at 33 Scott Campbell. He goes in, big old thigh arm, shedding 2 blocks and sticking his arm, which is his thigh, out to stop the run the first half, which is right. Actually, I think he did it again, where he gets credit for a sack, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It's Herbert trying to run. He gets a sack on that because they credit it's like a half-yard sack, and that's a big deal, man. They get bonus money on that kind of stuff, and that's the payday for those guys. So, which I love. And he says, out, nothing, no outs, a great win and a statement by the team. Exciting times ahead. Thank you, Scott. You're always out there on Twitter, dude, and want to say appreciate it.
See the snail coming at you saying to speak for yourself. He's petty and will absolutely harbor all ill will. Word you're talking about Russ there.
Fair is fair. I love the snail. I listen to a myriad amount of different Seahawks podcasts, and I know that the snail shows up on the other ones, and I'm always like, oh, I know that guy. So I love the fact that he's like as fanatic as I am. So like 1 a.m. on the East Coast, I'm like, oh, sure. Let me listen to my 4th reaction show. Like after, of course, I listened to you and Adam as the first. So the snail, he's out there jumping around like I am, because we're freaking insane and love this team, which is cool.
Hugh Lloyd at Lloydzilla, in for Geno on the 3rd and 8 on the last drive on the Dallas run. He threw a block, which meant the hole was there for the first down. Without that block, we don't make the first. Big time quarterback play, going over and above for the team.
Yeah. beautifully stated. And you gotta love when we get that extra first down, don't gotta give the ball back. We get the victory formation, we get the backflips from DJ Marquise Goodwin. It's all good. Derek Williamson, Derek W0, I believe it's a 0 at the end of his Twitter handle, goes in. D lineman and those big paws, batter up. And you hit it earlier. What did we bat down? 3, I think you said 3 passes batted down at the line. That's a big deal. You combine that with 3 sacks, 3 things batted down, 3 passes batted down. It's a pretty freaking good day. Remember, real quick, Herbert had 7 sacks total. 7 sacks total coming into the game. So 6 games, 7 sacks. We got 3. This team is turning things. Yeah, true fact.
Oh yeah, because Al got the one that was right at the line of scrimmage, the Darrell Taylor the fumble, which counted as a sack, and then Jefferson had one.
Yep, and Nwosu should have had 17. he was really close on a lot of plays, and I was like, how did he
on that one where he had?
I know that. Yeah. He kind of just did the okey doke. He went over the top of him, and he just kind of, I
mean, that's why Herbert only had 7 coming into this game, because he gets out of. I mean, you just see him get out of sacks like that.
That's true. It's like even a more mobile, early stage Roethlisberger. And Roethlisberger would just not go down. He'd get rid of the ball, right, somehow, because he was just a big oak. But you're right. Herbert does have the elusiveness to get out of some of those like things. You're like, holy crap, dude! Any other dude is sacked there. So,
all right, Shane Turner coming in, covering some of the ones that we hit on already, but giving the end to Puna, batting down the pass to help stop the Chargers' drive at the end of the first half, and then out to Cody Barton's complete lack of awareness on the Chargers' second touchdown as the play ran right by him.
Yeah, that we talked about that. It was weird. I'm not gonna be mad at Cody any more than that. We won by a lot, and we're playing better. So, and when we win, we have all these fun, traditions now, because we've been doing this for a number of years, which is just amazing. One of the things we do now is we fire up Enter Sandman. We get the man, the myth out of the bullpen, Hawk Van Dyke, Bloomy, of course, and we reserve his ins for last. He goes in. Tired team theory hit. He's that big tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist about rest days. He goes, that's big. He goes in. Next up, the Giants, who fly from Florida to Seattle for their second straight road game. Also London to New York to Florida to Seattle in the last 4 weeks, basically saying, look out, another tired team coming to town. Last in, just when you think the shoe is dropping on Geno with the early INT, he settles down with another solid game. That, Brandon, is how you close from the flock. I want to say those who stuck with us the entire time here, listen, when we win, we got rules, but more and more people want to share their ins and outs and get the crannies to us. And I don't know about you, Brandon, I realize it might be a big section, but I don't want to shortchange people. I want their voice to be friggin' heard. So just want to say thanks to the folks for sticking around for an extended from the flock, because they're extended when we typically win, which is awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so much fun to go back and relive so many of these moments, and especially the ones that stick out to folks. And so, yeah, it's fun to go back and just relive, even some of the bad moments where we can all laugh at the fact that no, it wouldn't be so funny if we lost and Cody Barton was we probably wouldn't be talking about it so much, but it's fun to point at that particular play and just say, yeah, oh, what are you doing, Cody?
whoops. And we got the snail coming in with the $2 super chat there in 3 tight end sets. More, please. I love the fact that it's called 13 personnel. I learned that from watching the Baldy breakdowns, and it's just a cool thing we do, man. Yeah, that's 13 personnel, and it's
you get it through bootleg football too. Okay, 11 personnel. Yeah. It's the first one is the running back, right, and then the number of tight ends. Is that how it works? See, I can't even remember now, but it's
yeah. I just know 2. I'm real simple. I go 2 tight ends equals 12 12. 3 tight ends equals 13. So I'm just like the last number equals the number of tight ends, whether or not that's
Right.
actually, totally how it works, but 11, 12, 13. But 13,
Yeah.
I do know is
The
three
second
tight
number is
ends.
the number of tight ends.
There you go. Yeah. So which is awesome. And yeah, man, I mean, the fact that I have to say this too quickly. When preseason we're like, I don't know about Colby Parkinson. Is he a thing? What's he gonna do? Like, why do we even have him? He just seems like a tall dude. He can't really do that much. And then you see the execution with this 13 personnel and these 3 tight ends, and it's one last reminder, maybe a good place to kind of wrap this up, that maybe Pete Carroll and company know what the heck they're doing. Maybe they know what they're doing as coaches, and maybe they deserve, our respect at this point, that they have a beat on this, and that's why we're good consistently, and it's a fun team. Brandan, any particular thoughts about the New York Football Giants, who are 6-1? Have you had a chance to watch any of their stuff yet? Have you dove into what Daniel Jones is looking like under this new offense? Like any sense of what you think this team is or is not?
Well, the thing that I like based on what we've seen the past couple of weeks is they've done a pretty good job at stopping the run these last couple of weeks. Now, I said before it was Benjamin in Arizona, and that was not so impressive. But the way they stopped Eckler when he was running the football, they did a good job. And I suppose Herbert's probably not going to be super mobile because he is dealing with a rib injury. But you're really going to have to. This is like with this Giants team, the way Saquon Barkley is playing and the way that Daniel Jones is running the football, it's like having a two-headed monster in the running game with these two guys. It's like if you were to pair Lamar Jackson with another really good running back. I feel like Jones is running at that kind of level for a quarterback. And so we're going to have to see it from the defense again this year, because if they can't stop that, then it's going to open up some of the things in the passing game. It's like, well, shoot. It reminds me now a lot of the New Orleans game where
That's a good call.
Got to focus on Kamara. And then Taysom Hill comes out and runs for 100 yards.
Yeah, that's a great call because they don't have the offensive weapons on the outside, just because they're mainly hurt and have been huge disappointments. Remember they signed Galladay a couple of years ago now and gave him a huge contract. He's been an absolute dud. And then everybody else is hurt. Whether it's Kadarius Toney or Wan'Dale Robinson, all these, whether they're in or out, they're inconsistent and they're not sure. Darius Slayton, pretty good wide receiver, but also banged up a lot. It's your call on Taysom Hill is an interesting one, and that's not a slight to Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones is a quarterback and he can move the ball. I think the warning for me is folks to just automatically say the Giants are a paper tiger at 6-1 and just assume they are, because they've had these comebacks and kind of weird games, but to not actually look at Daniel Jones as a pretty competent quarterback who, very much like Geno, is in a system that's working for him, and he's dangerous. He could cause problems, and if we allow a Taysom Hill style day, there's going to be a challenge there. Of course, we could run, we could put numbers up, not worried about that, but we may end up having this shootout that didn't have to exist, which is exactly what the New Orleans game was. It was a shootout that should never have been. So if they allow that, then you're in a 50-50 coin toss. Like one drive doesn't go your way and you lose the game, versus we're a better team than the Giants. And the Giants just got hurt. Giants lost 2 offensive weapons, offensive linemen, I should say.
Yeah, Evan Neal went down for a few weeks.
Evan Neal for a little bit, correct. And their tight end, I think it's Bellinger. Their tight end also just got dinged, just playing good football. So, and he's kind of like a Will Dissly type. He's the blocking, first tight end. We should beat the Giants. If Taysom Hill shows up in the form of Daniel Jones, flip a coin. So a great call by you, dude. That's a really good piece of analysis, man.
Well, we'll have more analysis for you later in the week when we get into our flagship show with Adam coming up toward the middle of the week. And of course, we got What If coming up with Phil. So yeah, lots more content coming your way throughout this week. And I think with that, Clinton,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.